Hey guys, Mark here. I hope you are well. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the Manrope knot. It is man and it is most man. The Manrope knot is usually used as a terminal knot in order to finish up various items. You can use it to finish up a series of crown knots, a braid, or anything like it. It is a multi-strand knot, so it is very useful in a variety of different situations. With that said, let's take a look at the knot up close, then tie it. Here you can see an example of a Manrope knot. This one was tied using two different colors of strands, and for this one I used 4 strands. The Manrope knot can be tied with different strand numbers. You can use 3, 4, 5, it doesn't really matter. The process stays pretty much the same for all of them. This is a triple pass version, meaning that the knot was tripled. The main defining feature of the Manrope knot is that the strands that you used to tie the knot come out at the bottom of the knot, facing back towards the project that you did. So this crown sinnet is finished using the Manrope knot, and I can trim the ends here, right next to the crown sinnet. This is in stark contrast with the foot rope knot, which has the ends coming out at the top of the knot. In this case, I would trim them off here, at the bottom of the project. So the two knots are very distinct and they both have their uses. With that said, let's start tying some Manrope knots. Tying the Manrope knot starts off by tying a wall knot. After tying the wall knot, we proceed by tying a crown knot on top of the wall knot. After that, we continue by doubling or tripling the knot. So to start off, we're going to set up the wall knot, then tie a crown knot on top of it. So we start with one of the strands, and we place it counterclockwise under the next strand. So like this. Then we pick up the next strand, under which we just went, and we go under the third strand using the second strand. Like this. Then using the third strand, we're going to pass under the fourth strand. Like this. Then, using the last strand, so the fourth one, we're going to pass under and through the first loop that we made. Like this. Now tighten up the wall knot. So if you did it correctly, you should get this nice flower-like shape. To continue, we're now going to stack a crown knot on top of our wall knot. So we pick up one of the strands, and again we travel counterclockwise, but this time we pass over the next strand. So we pass over the next strand, then with the next strand, we pass over the third strand, then using the third strand, we pass over the last strand, and then finally, using the last strand, we go over and through the first loop that we made. And this is the base that we're going to use to tie all of our Manrope knots, be it 2-pass, 3-pass versions, as well as any other. So a wall knot, then a crown knot. One additional tip that I would like to offer, especially if you are learning this knot, is to square up the top crown knot in order to be parallel to the bottom wall knot. This is going to help you see things a bit easier. So you can see that the top crown knot here is a bit diagonal to the bottom wall knot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to square it up. So I'm going to retighten it so that it is parallel to the wall knot below. So something like this. It's still not perfect, but a lot easier to see. The double version of the Manrope knot is tied by taking one of the strands that we have available. So I'm going to start with this bottom one, and we're going to double up the Manrope knot by following this strand. Now there are two ways of doubling a Manrope knot. You can follow this strand on its top or at the bottom. The usual way for tying a Manrope knot is to double up this strand at the bottom. So I'm going to follow it and do what this strand does until I double it up. So I'm going to take this strand and I'm going to go parallel to this strand at the top, going on its bottom. I'm going to double it up on its outer side. Like this. Coming parallel to this strand that I have been doubling up. So like this. Then also down under this last strand. Like this. And this is one strand completed. We now take the next strand and we're going to again double up this strand on its bottom. So we travel under the strand, then come up on the outer side of this strand, like this, and keep following the strand with an under, and again under the very last strand as well. Take the next strand, so in this case this one, and again go at the bottom of this strand, following at the bottom, and double it up on its outer side. Again, traveling here, under, and also under these two strands, so directly down. And the last strand again doubles up this strand next to it on the bottom side, coming up on the outer side of the strand, then under these two strands, and then directly down. So, after you've done this, you have doubled up the strands in your Manrope knot and you have them at the bottom, and you can begin your tightening process. The tightening process always starts by picking up one of the strands that is coming directly out of your project. So at the very start, and then you go through the entire strand, and finally you pull the slack out of that working end. Then you pick up the next strand and the next and so on until you get a nicely shaped knot. In this case, it is going to be a 2-pass version of the Manrope knot. After a bit of tightening, our 2-pass version of the Manrope knot is complete. As you can see, the strands are indeed coming out at the bottom of the knot, which is very beneficial in many cases. In any case, we have the 2-pass version of the Manrope knot. The triple version of the Manrope knot starts pretty much the same as the 2-pass version. So I have a wall knot, then a crown knot. At this point, I'm going to begin doubling up the knot, then I'm going to triple it up. So I'm going to pick up one of the strands, and I'm going to follow this strand on its bottom, so the outer side. So I go parallel, then up, and parallel on the outer side. Now the difference here is that we're not going to go down to the bottom of the knot by going under this strand. So we're going to keep our strand at the top of the knot. Then we're going to move on to the next strand. So this one. Again, follow this strand on its bottom. Come up. And double up this strand on its outer side, like this. We do not travel to the bottom. And the next strand, we follow this one on the bottom, then we come up, again doubling up the strand that we're following on its outer side, and we do not pass down to the bottom of the knot. Then I'm going to pick up the last of the strands, which is going to be this one, the inner one of the two. I'm going to pass under this strand on its bottom, and double up the strand on its outer side. So this time I have my strands at the top of the knot and the knot is doubled up. Now I'm going to triple it up the same way that I doubled it up. So I'm going to pick up one of the strands. I'm going to follow these two strands at the bottom, come up, and triple it up on the outer side. Then, finally, after passing here under 2, we're also going to go down to the bottom of the knot by going under 2. Like this. Then pick up the next strand, triple up this pair of strands by going on the outer side, then up, triple up on the outer side, and back down under these two strands. Then the next strand, we triple up these two strands, come up, triple up on the outer side, then down under these strands. This time there are going to be 3 of them. Like this. And our final strand, we triple up these two strands, the last 2 remaining ones, we come up, double up these 2 strands on their outer side, like this, then down under 3, and you have a triple version of the Manrope knot. I don't think this is terribly hard to tie, it just takes another pass. Now tighten it up pretty much the same way that you did the 2-pass version. So you start by finding a strand that's coming out directly out of the project, then work that strand through the knot and remove the slack out of that strand. Like this. It's going to take a bit of time, but well, this is a part of tying knots. So guys, by tying the 2-pass as well as the 3-pass version of the Manrope knot, we came to the end of this video. I hope that you didn't have too much of an issue tying these knots, and I hope that you will be able to apply them in future projects. Thank you very much for joining me, and see you next time.